Hi guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Meredith Ellen, and today I have a book haul for you, and she is a doozy. Okay, you know shit is serious when we like have to sit on the floor because I have way too many books to sit back there in my little filming chair, but yeah, I finished my physical TBR. That's actually not that big of an achievement for me. I never have a very long physical TBR because it overwhelms me, but I have read every book that I own, and so I needed a little restock. I ended up spending about $500 on, it's like 22 books. I have some pre-orders in there as well, which I will mention. But yeah, fair warning, I will be reading like the synopsis or like the blurbs on the back of a lot of these books because I went strictly off of vibes. That was what I was working with. I do judge a book by its cover and I do judge a book by its title. I remember when Quicksilver by Callie Hart came out and I was like, I think the fuck not. Sorry. So yes, I bought a lot of these very blindly, but I think I have some good things in here. So we'll just jump right into it. So the first one I have for you is by The Orchid and the Owl. And I found this book on Reddit, actually. In the Fairy Loot subreddit, someone had made a post saying, hey, people who get arcs quite regularly, what is the best arc that you've read so far this year? And so many people brought this up. And I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting because I have never heard of Mariah Montoya. So I went ahead, I went on Goodreads, and you guys, the reviews for this book are actually insane. It has something like 4.6 stars, which for a romantasy is actually quite high. So I went ahead and I bought her. I'll read you the back and then I'll kind of talk about it because I did read this. This was the first book I read. I finished it today. I started it the day before yesterday. So yeah. 18-year-old Raina Dre should be excited for her branding when the island's good council will infuse her blood with one of 5 sanctioned magics: the ability to wield elements, summon objects, shift forms, talk to wildlife, or manipulate minds. The good council is good, the branding doesn't hurt, and the institution she must attend afterward to learn how to control her new gift is only a little dangerous. Or at least that's what Raina has always heard. As soon as she arrives at the Echelon Institute, however, a peer-pressured dare makes her explode with a power as deadly as it is forbidden. Worse yet, the only one who can teach her how to hide it from the good council is Cohen Steeler, a much too handsome 5th year who can manipulate minds as easily as he breathes. He alone understands Raina's forbidden power, because he has the same one. With their secret in each other's hands, Raina soon uncovers other dark secrets that threaten the very foundation of the island itself, and the worst of them, if the good council finds out what lurks in her and Cohen's blood, they'll both face a fate beyond obedience and a punishment worse than death. So yes, and I will be honest, if you listened to me read that and you were like, that does not sound interesting at all, I can kind of agree. I am very glad that I did go into this blindly, because if I had just read that, I would be like, I don't really think that's for me. I'm an epic fantasy reader. I do have the Fairy Loot Romantasy box, and that's kind of just like my monthly dose of romantasy that I usually get. So reading this, I was kind of like, okay, but I'm so glad that I ignored this and just jumped in, because let me tell you something about this girl right here. Some authors are genuinely just meant to be authors, and I think that Mariah is an incredible storyteller. But yeah, this was a really good read. I finished it in like a day and a half, 2 days. And whenever I was halfway through it, I was like, this might be more of like a 4-star read for me. But the ending was actually really good. So I went ahead and I gave her 5 stars. So I know that I said that the vibes for this haul were strictly based off the vibes of the covers. The vibes of the vibes, if you will. But I did actually get some recommendations from TikTok. I am usually like a YouTube Reddit girl because I like actual conversation around the book. And the thing with TikTok is I know people complain a lot where they're like, oh, when people review books, they just talk about tropes, they don't talk about the plot. And that does annoy me too, but with TikTok, I get it because people want it to go like that. They want you to fit 10 books in 2 minutes, tell them whether you like it or not, tell them whether they should buy it or not. So I get it. And because of that, I usually don't take recommendations off of TikTok. However, I think I found someone that I can trust. I will put her account right here because I can't think of her name to save my life. But I got a video in my feed recommending this book, He Who Bleeds. And the girl who reviewed it basically said that she is not a fan of dark romance, and so it's really hard to impress her because she doesn't like, I guess, like the corniness of having this like 18-year-old virgin who's like super innocent and very just like good girl with some like mafia kid. Picture like any Rena Kent book you've ever read, right? And she said that she was on a hunt for a dark romance that was truly actually dark, where it's just two horrible people that make each other worse. And she came across this. She actually described this as more of an erotic horror rather than dark romance. I'm gonna go ahead and read the back for you. This takes place in London in 1874. Religious devotion was a learned skill, and even the most pious of men have felt the tug of the devil's influence. Lord Aurelian? Let me know if I'm fucking that up. Lord Aurelian Saint Orlint found he was no exception, always towing the line between being a true God-fearing man and a barbaric sinner. This monotonous life of his changes when his world crashes down around him and the wolves in sheep's clothing are revealed, leading Aurelian to discover his true origins. As one of many devil spawns, he is locked in a contract with a greedy human who uses him to commit unorthodox killings among the upper echelon. When his contract is partially broken, Aurelian finds himself whole again, and his desire to create his macabre art only grows. The spawn seeks retribution and craves the freedom to create his art in utter peace. With the help of his incubus lover, Lord Aurelian Saint Orlint will paint the streets red with that human's gore. Okay, girl, why the fuck not? It's also quite thin. Not that long. It sounds intriguing. Had to pick her up. And in that same video, she did say if you're looking for a true dark romance, she recommended this. This is The Saint of Heartbreak by Morgan Dante. And I did have to order this on Amazon. I'm not sure if this is a more like indie author, but Amazon was the only place that I could find it to purchase online. After his betrayal with a kiss, Judas dies in despair and goes to hell. When Christ saves other souls during the harrowing of hell, he leaves Judas behind, but not alone in the ninth circle where the most detestable traitors go. Callous, resigned, and abandoned by God long ago, the devil sees Judas as a pathetic wretch. But he soon finds a kindred spirit. As the centuries pass, they struggle to find even a sliver of happiness in hell. Doomed by the narrative, will they find happiness, or will their story continue to be a tragedy? Okay. Again, this is very out of my comfort zone. Like I said, I'm an epic fantasy person, but I don't mind dipping my toes into something new. So, we will see. And then in the comments of that, okay, if you read horror, you've probably read this, The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Caw, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. This was recommended in the comment section of the video I was just telling you about. And again, another blind buy for me. It was just the sheer amount of people that were like, this book is incredible. This woman can write her ass off. I was like, okay, because when I looked it up and I saw how short it was, I was like, you know, I usually don't read horror, but this feels like a good entry for me. I am a scaredy cat. I am. But I figured I'd give her a go. I actually haven't read what this is about at all. You may think you know how the fairy tale goes. A mermaid comes to shore and weds the prince. But what the fable forgets is that mermaids have teeth, and now her daughters have devoured the kingdom and burned it to ashes. On the run, the mermaid is joined by a mysterious plague doctor with a darkness of their own. Deep in the eerie, snow-crusted forest, the pair stumbles upon a village of ageless children who thirst for blood, and the three saints who control them. The mermaid and her doctor must embrace the cruelest parts of their true natures if they hope to survive. Okay. So, something new that I am trying, this sounds so silly, but I have not picked up a YA novel in quite some time. It's just usually not the section that I shop in when I go to the bookstore. I've read Caraval, I've read Once Upon a Broken Heart. Obviously, I read like Twilight and stuff like that whenever I was younger. I read the Powerless trilogy too. That one was kind of okay. But unless it gets very popular, I usually don't reach for YA at all. But since I've really read everything that's quite popular in adult romance and fantasy, I figured I would branch out. So I did pick up some things from the YA section when I went shopping. First and foremost, this is a new release, A Treachery of Swans. So I will say, I did see a very brief TikTok about this, saying that it was a Swan Lake retelling. If you're new to my channel, I really love folklore and fairy tale retellings. It is my favorite, and Swan Lake is one of my favorite folklore stories ever. I actually finished my physical TBR with A Crown So Silver, which is the sequel to A Feather So Black. And Feather So Black, and it was a Swan Lake retelling in a sense of it was one of the plot lines, but it wasn't like the entire thing. And it was why I love that book so much. I was so annoyingly ride or die. I was like, everyone says it's fucking boring. It's not fucking boring. Like, I was shouting it from the rooftops. I was like, this book is incredible. That sequel was horrid. And I knew I fucked up once I got to like chapter 3. I sadly DNF'd, even though I bought the Fairy Loot exclusive of it. That was a really big letdown. So to make up for it, I grabbed her. And I believe that this is sapphic as well. A little L from the LGBT. Okay, LGBTQIA+.
She's an ally.
Clock it. Thank you. So fucking unserious. Okay. But yeah, I was like, well, I have to get it. I have to. And also, I mean, the cover is so gorgeous. My light is reflecting horribly off of it. I mean, how could I not? So we'll see. We'll see. Next is The Wolf and the Woodsman. So Ava Reed also wrote A Study in Drowning, which I have heard about. I have never read. But I had to give this a go. Okay, I had to. This is so pretty. This isn't the original cover either, by the way. This is a deluxe edition, but it's not exclusive to any store in particular. I think I paid $32 for this from Barnes & Noble, but like I said, it's not a Barnes & Noble exclusive. And I'm so glad that they did this cover because I actually don't like the original cover. I would have never reached for this if I had seen the original. But yeah, I will read it for you. Let's see. In her forest-veiled pagan village, ooh, I don't want to mess up this name. Evik or Evike. Guys. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Okay. Is the only woman without power, making her an outcast. Oh my. Is the only woman without power, making her an outcast, clearly abandoned by the gods. The villagers blame her corrupted bloodline. Her father was a Yahoo. Holy mother of fuck. Can I speak? Can I, like... What is this based off of? Hold on. Romance and folklore inspired by Hungarian history and Jewish mythology. That'll do it. That will do it. I can't pronounce any of these fucking names. Okay. Me, a grown woman who can't pronounce anyone's name. Thank you. This reminds me of when people read Tower of Dawn and they're like, guys, how do you pronounce Irene? Like, I feel like I'm fucking up real bad right now. Her father was a Yehudi man. That is the pronunciation I'm finishing on. Yehudi. One of the much-loathed servants of the fanatical king when soldiers arrive from the Holy Order of Woodsmen to claim a pagan girl for the king's blood sacrifice. Evike is betrayed by her fellow villagers and surrendered, but when monsters attack the woodsmen and their captive en route, slaughtering everyone but Evike and the cold, one-eyed captain. Okay. The two have no choice but to rely on each other, except the captain is no ordinary woodsman. He's the disgraced prince, Barony Gaspar, whose father needs pagan magic to consolidate his power. Gaspar, guys, I'm fucking... Oh, I know someone's gonna be like, that's not right. Gaspar fears that his cruelly zealous brother plans to seize the throne and instigate a violent reign that would damn the pagans and the Yehudi alike. As the son of a reviled foreign queen, Gaspar understands what it's like to be an outcast, and he and Evike make a tenuous pact to stop his brother. As their mission takes them from the bitter northern tundra to a smog-choked capital, their mutual loathing slowly turns to affection. Bound by a shared history of alienation and oppression, however, trust can easily be turned to betrayal, and as Evike reconnects with her estranged father and discovers her own hidden magic, she and Gaspar need to decide whose side they're on and what they're willing to give up for a nation that never cared for them at all. Okay. So, okay, I picked this up in the YA section. Alright, next, we did an L from the LGBT, now we're doing a G from the LGBT, thank you. This is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. So, I saw this cover, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a little interesting. Picked her up. Oh, that's fucking sick. Get into that, girls. I know that this isn't everyone's thing, and some people are probably gonna be like, but I really like this. This was like right up my alley. So, yes, I believe we're getting a little bit gay in here. High school senior Andrew Perrault finds refuge in the twisted fairy tales that he writes for the only person who can ground him to reality. Thomas Rye, the boy with perpetually ink-stained hands and hair like autumn leaves. That's cute. And with his twin sister Dove inexplicably keeping him at a cold distance upon their return to Wickwood Academy, Andrew finds himself leaning on his friend even more. But something strange is going on with Thomas. His abusive parents have mysteriously vanished, and he arrived at school with blood on his sleeve. Thomas won't say a word about it and shuts down whenever Andrew tries to ask him questions. Stranger still, Thomas is haunted by something, and he seems to have lost interest in his artwork. Whimsically macabre sketches of the monsters from Andrew's wicked stories. Desperate to figure out what's wrong with his friend, Andrew follows Thomas into the off-limits forest one night and catches him fighting a nightmarish monster. Thomas's drawings have come to life and are killing anyone close to him. To make sure no one else dies, the boy battles the monsters every night, but as their obsession with each other grows stronger, so do the monsters. Yikes. And Andrew begins to fear that the only way to stop the creatures might be to destroy their creator. So, it sounds promising. I am hoping it is not juvenile, and I think that's why I tend to not reach for YA, is that the dialogue sometimes really kills me. But if this ends up being well written, I think it is very promising. Next up, I'm actually so excited about this. So this is Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna Van Veen, who I guess is friends with Rachel Gillig, you know, One Dark Window, The Night and the Moth. You know her. We all know her. We love her. Okay. I guess that she is friends with Joanna. I'm knocking shit over left and right. And when this book came out, Rachel posted it on her Instagram story and was like, everybody go buy my friend's book. And I said, anything for you. You guys, this is insane. Ugh. It's so good. So this is, I'm not sure if it counts as horror. It is definitely gothic though. So the Netherlands 1887. Lucy's twin sister Sarah is unwell. She refuses to eat, mumbles nonsensically, and is increasingly obsessed with the centuries-old corpse recently discovered on her husband's grand estate. The doctor has diagnosed her with temporary insanity caused by a fever of the brain. To protect her twin from a terrible fate in a lunatic asylum, Lucy must unravel the mystery surrounding her sister's condition, but it's clear her twin is hiding something. Then again, Lucy is harboring secrets of her own too. Then the worst happens. Sarah's behavior takes a turn for the strange. She becomes angry and hungry. Lucy soon comes to suspect that something is trying to possess her beloved sister, or is it madness? As Sarah changes before her very eyes, Lucy must reckon with the dark, monstrous truth or risk losing her forever. Incredible. Incredible. I am telling you right now, if this book doesn't end up being 5 stars, I'm actually going to be very shocked. Also, I swear when we would do popcorn in school, I had that shit down. If you hear me choking on my own spit, don't judge. Okay? I can read. I have a fucking degree. Please. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention this one whenever I was going over my YA purchases. So this is Anatomy. And I was very intrigued by her. There was another book by the same author that I was going to buy at the same time, but the only one that they had was damaged. So I just left with this one. This is a gothic romance, a gothic YA romance. Curious to see how it goes. Hazel Sinnott is a lady who wants to be a surgeon more than she wants to marry. Jack Kerr is a body snatcher who's just trying to survive in a city where it's too easy to die. When the two of them have a chance encounter outside of Edinburgh's Anatomist Society, Hazel thinks little of it at first, but after she's kicked out of lectures given by the renowned surgeon Dr. Beacom for being the wrong gender, she realizes that her new acquaintance Jack might actually be of use to her. Because Hazel has made a deal with Dr. Beacom, if she can pass the medical examination on her own, Beacom will allow her to continue her medical career. But without official lessons, Hazel will need more than just her books. She'll need corpses to study. Luckily, Jack digs them up for a living. But Jack has his own problems. Strange men have been skulking around cemeteries, his friends are disappearing off the streets, and the dreaded Roman fever, which wiped out thousands a few years ago, is back with a vengeance. Nobody important cares except for Hazel. Okay, girl. Also, if you see my eyebrow doing crazy things, it's because I have a scar. I'm trying to smooth it out. Next. Guys, I'm so excited about this one. Oh my god. Okay, I do have some vampire stuff in here. Of course, we're going into fall. Well, kind of. I'm pretending we're going into fall already. So this is A Dowry of Blood. I know everyone and their mother has already read this book. I'm the last man standing. But it's been sitting in my wish list for years, and I figured what better time to buy it than now. I'm very excited. This is my favorite bookmark. I'll link it. Little cutscene action. I had to let my dog in. Essentially about like a peasant girl who is turned into a vampire and marries Dracula, but he like kind of sucks. It's apparently very passionate. There's a lot of deceit that goes on. Apparently it has like a crazy ending to it where people are like, this will make you just go bananas. And as you can tell from my bookmark being inside of it, this is my next read. I haven't started it. I'm gonna start it after I finish this video. But yeah, I've been waiting a few years for her. It's all my fault, but we'll see how it goes. We'll stay on the topic of vampires. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil is a sapphic vampire novel. Is it a novel? I don't know if it's a novel or if it's gonna be in a series. But she is fairly new. I believe that this came out in early June. This is the first book I actually bought out of this whole collection. I went to the Books A Million in my mall like 2 weeks after it came out, and the girl was like, oh, we only got one copy of that actually. No one's come to buy it. Guess what? She signed. I am very curious to see how I feel about this. I saw a lot of people say that this is like the best book they've read so far this year. People are raving about it. But this girl who I follow on TikTok, she is an artist and her niche is reviewing book covers and like how good the art is. And then she also has the series where she like talks shit about bad book covers. And this is kind of like right up her alley. And she said that this was one of the most disappointing books that she's read so far this year. I was like, whoa. So I'm very curious to see where I stand on this. I don't know. I'll get to her when I get to her. She's not at the top of my list, but I will definitely read her. I read every book that I buy. Nothing goes to waste over here, okay? Okay, so next I have God Killer by Hannah Kaner. Sorry, my light is like reflecting on this so bad. But I actually picked this up because these little reviews on the bottom and like the back of books have a very specific name. And I cannot think of it to save my life right now. But Samantha Shannon is the author that they put down here with her little review. And Samantha Shannon is one of my favorite authors of all time. So whenever I was browsing through the fantasy section to see what to read next, I stumbled upon this and I was like, okay, well, I trust her. I love her writing. I love who she is as an author. So I have to give this a go. Read it for ya. Gods are forbidden in the kingdom of Midrin. Formed by human desires and fed by their worship, there are countless gods in the world. But after a great war, the new king outlawed them and now pays god killers to destroy any who try to rise from the shadows. Kissin makes a living killing gods and enjoys it, but all this changes when she is tasked with helping a young noble whose soul is bounded to a tiny god of white lies. Kissin realizes she can't kill it without ending the girl's life too. Joined by a disillusioned knight on a secret quest, the unlikely group must travel to the ruined city of Blinrodin, where the last of the wild gods reside, to each beg a favor. Pursued by assassins and demons, and in the midst of a civil war, they will all face a reckoning. Something is rotting at the heart of their world, and they are the only ones who can stop it. So yeah. We will see. I'm actually kind of shocked. I ordered this online and was very surprised at how thin it was. But we will see if it goes well. There is a sequel. So this is one of these is not like the rest of them, and that is The Jasmine Throne. This is another book where, similar to A Dowry of Blood, it has just been sitting in my wish list for so long. I don't know why. For some reason, I just haven't gotten around to purchasing it, but it was on sale actually. I managed to snag this for 10 bucks, and this cover art is so gorgeous. I will be honest with you, when I read the back of this, there isn't much to it, so I still kind of feel like I'm going in blind, but I will read it to you. Trapped by her brother within the crumbling walls of an ancient temple, Princess Nalini dreams of vengeance. Forced to disavow her birthright and her power because of her past, maidservant Priya dreams of freedom. In a world beset by magic and turbulent uprising, their destinies will become tangled, and together they will set an empire ablaze. We'll see. Apparently this is a trilogy. I'm probably like the last person on earth to know that. Like I said, I am late. But yes, and she is thick. So I have high hopes. I love a lot of world building. That is my thing. I know a lot of people are really not into that. I see it with When the Moon Hatched, Crescent City, the first Crescent City. But that is just my jam. I love a lot of world building. I am a Southern woman to my core. I need to know every single person's business. I need to know why everything is the way that it is, okay? The Raven Scholar. I saw a TikTok where a girl talked about this. It wasn't that in-depth of a review, but it was basically like high fantasy. I believe there is a little bit of like an academia setting to this, and a lot of world building with multiple POVs. So I had to. I have so many like short novels in here that I needed some big boys to really beef it up, because if I'm spending $500, I want it to at least last me a good few months. Little spoiler warning, this is the July Romantasy box pick for Fairy Loot. This is Arcana or Arcana.
Arcana. Arcana.
Academy by Elise Kova. She is the same author who wrote A Deal with the Elf King, I believe is the title of that book. And yeah, so let's see. Clara Greysword has survived the underworld of Eclipse City through thievery, luck, and a whole lot of illegal magic. After a job gone awry, Clara is sentenced to a lifetime in prison for inking tarot cards, a rare power reserved for practitioners at an elite Arcana academy. Just when it seems her luck has run dry, the academy's headmaster, Prince Kalis, offers her an escape for a price. Kalis believes that Clara is the perfect tool to help him steal a tarot card from the king and use it to recreate an all-powerful card long lost to time. In order to conceal her identity and keep her close, Kalis brings Clara to Arcana Academy, introducing her as the newest first-year student and his bride-to-be. Okay, girls. Thrust into a world of arcane magic. Okay, so it's Arcana Academy. Fuck me, dude. I'm not redoing the video. Fuck. Thrust into a world of arcane magic and royal intrigue, where one misstep will send her back to prison or worse, Clara finds that the prince she swore to hate may not be what he seems, but can she risk giving him power over the world and her heart, or will she take it for herself? So those are all of the physical books that I have in my possession right now. I do have some pre-orders. I'm waiting on the sequel to The God and the Gamiho. I believe that is the correct pronunciation of that. It's Korean. If you have not read that book, I really recommend it. It is a romantasy that does not get talked about enough. It is set up like a K-drama or like a Korean soap opera in the 80s, where it is centered around a lot of Korea's folklore with their demons. They have a lot of demons in their culture. It's actually quite sick. It is incredible. The plot is very intricate, and I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I can't recommend it enough. And yes, I did pre-order the Fairy Loot edition of the sequel. I got the email yesterday that it's being packed up. And I believe it's called The God and the Gwisen. Gwisen. This is a hell of a video where I am just getting my ass beat by pronunciations. I get up here and I perform for you, and I embarrass myself like a little dancing monkey. So be it. I put myself in this situation. Some other pre-orders. So my one that'll be here the soonest, it ships on August 11th. It is the third book in the Priory of the Orange Tree universe by Samantha Shannon. So Among the Burning Flowers, I managed to get my hands on a signed edition of that, which I'm very excited about because Samantha Shannon is a British author. So Waterstones tends to usually get the good signed and deluxe versions from British authors, but I managed to get my hands on it somehow, a whole lot of luck. I checked Barnes & Noble at just a very good time. Another pre-order that I have is Alchemized, which okay, so I never read Manacled. I do know that some people are very weird right now with the Hermione, Draco Malfoy, like fan fiction craze that's happening. I will say I am not educated enough to know how fan fiction being traditionally published works. I am educated enough to say J.K. Rowling can go fuck herself. Okay. I've seen the Harry Potter movies. I've never read the Harry Potter books. I know that that is very sacrilege, but whenever I was growing up, my library never had them in stock, and my mom couldn't afford to buy them for me. So, I've never read it. I don't really know what's going on, but I mean, I'm in the book space. I like to be a part of the conversation. I like to know what people are talking about, so I did go ahead and I pre-ordered it. It is getting very popular in the romantasy space, but from what I hear, it does sound quite dark. I'm intrigued to see the discussion on how it differs from Manacled. But yeah, we'll see. It seems very grimdark and dystopian rather than like romantic. I know it has a romance plot line to it. We'll see. We'll see. And then my last pre-order, she will not ship until November 25th. But it is Fallen Stars, the sequel to Heavenly Bodies. Heavenly Bodies is one of my favorite romantasy books. I know that a lot of people who read it said that they felt the dialogue was very juvenile. I didn't feel that way, but I mean, to each their own, you know. Everybody has their opinion. I totally get it. It's still valid. I see you. I hear you. It's chill. But I really loved it. I thought that it was great. It felt very original when it came to the world, all the different gods and the astrology that went into it, and I think that Amani does such a good job of world building. I'm very excited. It will be a long time before it gets here though, but yeah, in case you were curious, girl, that's what $500 worth of books looks like. But yeah, yep, that's all I got. This is all I got. I guess, yeah, we had fun, and I'll see you next time. Okay.